You design a training class. Your staff pays close attention, they ace the test, and they leave the room seemingly prepared. Then, 2 weeks later on the floor, they struggle to execute the correct procedures. Delivering a steady stream of information is like pouring water over a smooth stone. It washes right off without leaving a mark. To build actual expertise, you need learners to practice until those behaviors take root and grip firmly into their long-term memory. Pull up your current training syllabus. We are going to break down that topic-based list and restructure it from the ground up. By turning a static document into an active map, the objective shifts from delivering temporary information to building actual skills. Step 1. Look at the standard training table of contents. Usually, it's a flat list of isolated topics: safety, ordering, customer service. A learner studies one module, finishes it, and moves on. To fix this, we organize the material into tiered accomplishments. Instead of grouping information by category, we string tasks together into progressive milestones. This diagram shows how we convert that flat list into a sequence of escalating goals. We organize the necessary skills into 3 distinct tiers based on the time horizon. The first node represents the immediate goal. For a new restaurant manager, this is surviving a single shift. They must prove they can supervise employees, fill out daily paperwork, and spot immediate safety issues. Mastering the shift leads directly into the medium-term goal, managing the restaurant for a full week. From there, the learner progresses to the long-term objective of leading a full quarter, including hiring and marketing. Because short-term goals must be met to reach the longer-term ones, learners are forced to practice real, on-the-job behaviors. They cannot advance until they prove they can execute the skills. Step 2 dictates your project timeline. The default instinct is to schedule all the practice into a single, extended block right after the lesson. But cramming repetitions together creates a biological bottleneck. Once a learner has a grasp on the material, extra immediate practice yields a diminishing return. The brain actively works to strengthen habits during periods of deep rest. Sleeping helps consolidate what we learn, branching out new neural connections and fusing them together into permanent architecture. The scheduling rule here is exact. Match the interval between practice sessions to how frequently the learner will need to use the behavior in the real world. At a minimum, you must map the practice exercises across multiple days. Pacing the training to accommodate biological sleep cycles supports the transition of information into long-term memory, preventing the temporary illusion of competence that comes from cramming. Step 3 asks an analytical question. Exactly how much practice does each tier require? To determine that volume, we evaluate the tasks using this control board of 4 calibration metrics. First is outcome variability. If there are hundreds of right ways to do something, like designing a website, you have to push this slider up. High variability demands a large volume of practice scenarios. Second is error tolerance. Low-stakes tasks require minimal practice, but high-stakes topics, like aircraft safety procedures, demand a near-zero error rate, meaning the required volume of repetition goes up. Third is automaticity. If a behavior requires unconscious competence, where the person performs it without thinking, you must mandate aggressive repetition to hit that target. Finally, speed. Rare events that require instant reactions have to be drilled relentlessly so the learner doesn't freeze when the situation actually occurs. Applying this complexity budget prevents the waste of overtraining low-impact tasks while ensuring you properly drill critical reflexes. Step 4. Practicing a new skill without immediate correction is dangerous. If someone practices a procedure incorrectly, that flawed technique becomes an ingrained habit that has to be actively unlearned later. The standard workplace approach is to offer performance reviews once a year. Compare that to modern video games, which offer hyper-efficient, frequent feedback mechanisms to steer player behavior. This split timeline visualizes the difference. A single final exam leaves the learner veering off course for months before receiving a grade. A structured goal system provides continuous course corrections. You must program variety into these points. Feedback must include natural consequences. In a live scenario, a poor choice should lead to tangible losses, like depleted budgets, wasted time, or burnt resources. Lock in a firm schedule for follow-up coaching using specific, standardized criteria. If live coaching isn't possible, set up virtual critique sessions where learners evaluate their work against a rubric. Without a rigorous consequence engine, practice operates blind. Immediate, varied feedback is the only steering wheel capable of shaping permanent behavior. Your training document has now transitioned from a passive bulleted list into an active, self-correcting engine. You have tiered your progression, spaced out the biology of your practice sessions, calibrated the exact volume of repetition needed, and built in consequence-based feedback loops. As these mechanics lock together, they create an environment where expertise is systematically formed, challenged, and mastered over time. Isolate your very first immediate goal right now and draft the specific consequence-based feedback your learners will face tomorrow.